We all know AI is a total game changer, right? It's boosting productivity, it's even supposed to be helping with cybersecurity. But here's a thought. What if the very thing we're building to protect us is also creating brand new, invisible doors for attackers? Today, we're diving deep into the hidden attack surface of AI, a wild new frontier of vulnerabilities that, honestly, every single one of us needs to get our heads around.
This quote from CompTI, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It gets to the absolute core of the problem. You see, our old security playbooks, all the firewalls and rules we've relied on for decades, they just weren't built for a technology that thinks and learns on its own. The way AI works creates these unique weak spots that our old-school defenses can't even see, let alone stop.
So first up, let's tackle a concept you've probably heard about in a totally different context, bias. But in cybersecurity, a biased AI isn't just an ethical issue, it's like having a faulty security guard at the front door. It can lead to some absolutely catastrophic failures in spotting real threats, making it a critical vulnerability. Okay, so this slide shows us exactly how that bias turns into a security flaw. Think about it. The AI is supposed to be a gatekeeper. But what happens if it's been trained to think all threats look a certain way? Well, it develops a massive blind spot. It might end up blocking a totally friendly user by mistake, or even worse, some brand new sophisticated attack could just waltz right past because it doesn't fit the AI's prejudiced idea of what a bad guy looks like.
So how does this bias even get into the system? Well, there are two main ways. The first one, data poisoning, is just incredibly sneaky. It's like a saboteur is slowly feeding the AI bad information, whispering in its ear, hey, see that malicious code? That's totally normal. Don't worry about it. Over time, the AI actually learns to trust threats. The other way is sample bias. This one's less malicious, but honestly, just as dangerous. It's where the AI is trained on data that's incomplete or just doesn't reflect the real world, leaving it completely unprepared for what's actually out there.
Moving on to our next risk. This one turns an AI's greatest strength, its amazing ability to absorb information, into a massive liability. I want you to picture these new large language models as giant digital sponges, just soaking up every single piece of data they touch.
And that sponge idea is absolutely key here. These models absorb everything they're trained on. The real danger is that a clever attacker can figure out exactly how to squeeze that sponge, forcing it to spill bits and pieces of its training data. So what if your company's secret product designs or your customers' private emails were in that data? Yeah, you've got a massive breach on your hands.
So how do these leaks actually happen in the wild? The most direct way is something called training data extraction, where attackers literally craft special questions to trick the AI into spitting out its secrets. Then you've got inference attacks. This is more like digital detective work. An attacker analyzes the AI's answers to figure out if a specific person's sensitive info was used to train it. And of course, the one we all have to watch out for: simple user error. You know, an employee pasting some confidential code into a public AI tool, accidentally handing over the keys to the kingdom.
And all of this leads us right into our third major risk area, the absolutely immense challenge of protecting intellectual property, your IP, in this new age of AI.
This Wild West metaphor, it is perfect. Seriously, the laws, the security standards, the best practices for AI and intellectual property, they're all still being figured out. It means companies are basically operating in this chaotic, lawless environment where their most valuable assets, their secret sauce, their code, their creative work, are exposed to completely new kinds of theft.
Let's break down the three biggest threats to your IP. First, copyright infringement. Your AI could just accidentally create something that looks way too much like someone else's copyrighted work, and boom, you're in a legal nightmare. Second, loss of trade secrets. The second your secret code gets fed into a third-party AI, you might legally lose your claim that it's a secret anymore. And finally, model theft. This one is just wild. Attackers can basically build a digital clone of your special AI model not by hacking into your servers, but just by asking it thousands and thousands of questions until they can reverse engineer how it works.
Okay, on to our final risk, and it is a big one because it comes from inside the house. It's called shadow AI. Now, if you've ever heard of shadow IT, this is basically its new supercharged cousin, where employees are using all kinds of unapproved AI tools that security has no idea about.
The danger here is just massive, because you can't protect what you don't know exists. First off, there's the no oversight problem. Your security team is flying completely blind. Then there's data sovereignty.
An employee could be using some random AI tool that's sending your customer data to a server in a country with zero data protection laws, which could get you in huge trouble with regulations like GDPR. And finally, and this is a big one, supply chain risk. You know that handy free AI plugin an employee downloaded? It could literally be malware in disguise, creating a brand new unsecured backdoor straight into your company's network.
All right, we've gone through a lot of problems, and I know it can feel a little daunting, but now let's pivot. Let's talk solutions, because this isn't about running away from AI, it's about figuring out how to use it safely. So let's open up the mitigation toolkit.
Here are 4 key strategies you absolutely need in your toolkit. First, always keep a human in the loop for those really critical decisions. You need a person to do that final sanity check. Second, adversarial training. Think of this like being an ethical hacker for your own AI. You try to break it so you can find the flaws before the bad guys do. Third, data masking. This is so simple but so powerful. Just scrub your data clean of any sensitive information before it ever touches an AI. No sensitive data, nothing to leak. And finally, egress filtering. This is like having a bouncer for your network, checking where all your data is trying to go and blocking any traffic to unapproved AI services.
So let's just end with this question. There is zero doubt that AI is one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever created. Its potential is just immense. But the real question, for all of us, is this. Are we building the guardrails, the security, and the ethical frameworks as quickly and as thoughtfully as we're building the technology itself? Definitely something to think about.